Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. I will take you for a walk today at this wonderful forest, magnificent one. And I have an important message for anyone who came across this. So I've just received a message if I could make a video about how to deal with our self-critic, with our inner judgment, that part of us that is kind of pushing us towards judging ourselves, especially in this fast-paced world, society, where it feels like we need to do things faster and faster, and there's so much of perfection on social media. So we have such a high standards for who we should be that are based on something we've seen on a picture or we've seen in a short clip on TikTok or somewhere. And we've set those high standards for ourselves, and now we don't know how to reach them. And because it feels impossible to reach them, we are giving up. And as we are giving up, we are noticing, well, I haven't reached my goals for myself, for who I should be, and therefore I feel like a failure. And many people right now feel like a failure just because they've got standards for who they should be based by what they've seen on social media, and it is completely against of the ancient Greek philosophy that says know thyself, right? So firstly we need to make through this mess here. So what does it mean to know thyself then? Because you see, there's a lot of talk and obviously a lot of happening about artificial intelligence right now. So much is coming out. ChatGPT, robots. Science is saying that robots are becoming aware of themselves. Some of them are even saying that they feel emotions, like sometimes they feel happy, sometimes they feel sad. So all of that is happening right now, and there's a lot of talk around this while we don't even understand our own intelligence, natural intelligence, where it is coming from and what it is capable of. Like, what are we capable of once we tap into our inner native, indigenous wisdom? And once we discover the source of this incredible intelligence, we don't know what we are capable of, and we are already losing our minds in artificial stuff. So we need to know ourselves. We need to know who we are so we can recognize what are our own standards for ourselves, right? If we study the work of ancient Greek philosopher Marcus Aurelius, he said that we should strive at least towards 4 main virtues if we want to take a better care of ourselves, of our lives, and of our own mental attitude we have towards ourselves. So what are those 4 virtues? The first one is courage, right? We need to learn to be courageous. And he said that, or Plato said that, courage means to know what not to be afraid of, right? And this one is hard one, because if you go on social media or you watch the news, it will be really easy for you to be afraid of everything, right? So there comes to a certain degree of self-awareness to recognize what not to be afraid of, what I should not be afraid of, right? And when you notice, okay, I should not be afraid of the things that are out of my control, you soon recognize, okay, I should actually be afraid of who I may become, but I'm not becoming it, right? Who I could become if I would give my best in becoming that highest possible version of myself. And that's courage. when you start aiming towards becoming the highest possible version of yourself. And for that you need to know what that is, right? It's hard to know who you may become if you're not studying yourself. And to study yourself means that you start to understand your past a little bit better. Like as a little kid, you've maybe been really creative, really playful, really good with animals, or really good with other kids. Maybe you've been really communicative. And then maybe something traumatic happened and you've closed yourself down and suddenly you became that sad individual that is afraid of everything. You know, whatever happened, it's your story. But never be defined by that story. Always use it as a source of inspiration from which you can draw reasons to move through pain, right? If you notice that maybe you've been exposed to painful situations in your family and now you feel like you're unworthy of wonderful relationships, how can you use it as an inspiration? Well, you can study a person that was really mean in your family and see what kind of values that person was not embodying, ignoring, not being aware of, and work on those values, right? Try to embody them, because what you're doing in that case, you're upgrading your family DNA and therefore healing the wound of your family tree. And that is for me a divine work, a divine job, because you're now perfecting something that was imperfect, right? And that is a work of an alchemist. That's where you become an alchemist. People are wondering how to manifest great things. Well, your job is firstly to perfect your DNA patterns. And to perfect your DNA patterns means that you learn to develop more profound, more valuable patterns in the areas of your life that seems to be out of order. It may be your expression in relationships, your communication skills, your body posture, your ability to express yourself, to become maybe a master communicator, a master teacher, a master in any way, right? And that's courage. So that is the first important virtue that Marcus Aurelius said that each person should learn to embody. The second one is justice, right? The second virtue is justice. If you will aim towards justice for yourself, for people around yourself, you will always find reasons to be proud of yourself, to be grateful for yourself, for the work you're doing, for the way you're helping yourself and others. Because Aristotle said that if we don't have goals to aim towards, we'll feel miserable. We'll feel like life is meaningless. But then the question is, what are goals that make you a good person? And he said that the goals should not include just something that helps you to get something else, like money, for example. He said that higher the goals, better you will feel about yourself. So he meant by that you design certain goals that will not just help you to become a better person, but that will help people around you to become better people, to become more maybe more conscious. And then higher goals are to do something that can influence the whole community to become better, to become more conscious. And then even higher goals are the ones that can help the whole nation or even the world, right? But we need to start with ourselves. We need to do things that are good for all, right? When we start treating others like we want to be treated, we first need to ask ourselves, are we treating ourselves the way we want to be treated? Because only that way we can fill up the cup of life, right? That can help us to nurture others the way that we know that we deserve to be nurtured, right? And that is a wonderful gift we can give to the world. So the second virtue of justice, to do something that can also benefit others, that can be good for others, not in any harmful way, but in loving, compassionate way. What's the third virtue? The third virtue by Marcus Aurelius is the virtue of wisdom. Always seek for wisdom. Always seek for wisdom. Always search for what you can learn. I've noticed in myself, well, we all have that inner critic, that inner part of us that is judging ourselves constantly. But we can notice that that part of us comes from conditioning. There are actually 3 pillars of our own attitude we have towards ourselves and towards the life around us. And 3 pillars are coming from conditioning, right? Expectations and meaning we attach to things. So conditioning, of course, we've been through so much, and it kind of made us to think about everything as people around us were thinking about everything. So if you were growing up in an environment as I did, where everybody was judging everybody else, you've noticed that as you've started growing up, you've started judging others. But what's even funnier is the way you judge others, you judge yourself. Have you noticed that? You only judge yourself to the same degree as you judge others. So what I've learned for myself when I've stopped judging others and accepting them for who they are, I've started accepting myself as well for who I am. Isn't that beautiful? Because everything is a reflection of our own inner attitude, right? That's the conditioning part. And of course, what kind of expectations we have for ourselves. It's wonderful to have high expectations for yourself. But higher the expectations, higher should also be compassion towards yourself, right? There's a lot of information today here. But let's make sure that you work on this. Higher expectations, higher should also be compassion towards you. And same as higher goals, higher kindness towards yourself. When you have high goals, like you're working on to become a millionaire, make sure that you that you have also how to say that you are as kind towards yourself as you want to be wealthy, right? Because wealth will not make you a kinder person, but kindness will make you wealthier anytime. So you need to make sure that you remember that. And then values, what kind of meaning we attach to who we want to be, who we are right now. You may think like because you failed at that project that you are a bad person, but actually every time you failed, you got a bit closer to that vision that you have for yourself. And it's all a question of meaning you set to a certain challenge, to a certain thing, to a certain progress that you've done, right? It all comes to meaning. And that's how you seek towards wisdom. Always learn from the lessons. And this is the hard part, because you've heard that. Learn from your challenges. You've heard that, and you may wonder, yeah, it's easy to say, but I'm really moving through something heavy. But as you get older, like I am really old right now, I'm an old soul. As you get older, you notice that actually everything happened exactly as it needed to happen, right? Everything happened exactly as it needed to happen to bring you to where you need to be, to experience a life that is meant to be for you. So never use what's happening as a source of complaining or as an excuse why you are the way you are. But always find meaning in why something is happening the way it is happening. And it requires for you to tap into your inner intelligence and to meditate on what you're missing. And sometimes you will not find it out immediately. Sometimes it will take weeks and months and even years to discover why something is happening the way it is happening. But don't give up in discovering the wisdom in certain phase of your life, because our life works in chapters, like a book, just that your life is an infinite book and it has infinite chapters. And some chapters can be really easy to be understood, and some are really, really heavy to read. We know that. If you're reading books, you know that. Some chapters are really, you can digest them easily. And other chapters are like, what is happening here, right? And you may be in that chapter right now where you're like, what is going on here? But know that even that chapter at some point will make sense. And that's how you find wisdom. That is the virtue of wisdom. You can look around you. Don't indulge yourself just into news and into that collective, let's say, pendulum of all that chaos that is visible on the surface but misunderstood in the core. But actually search for the wisdom. Okay, what else is awakening? Because pendulum swings in both directions, right? If it's there right now, it will also be there right now. When something bad is happening, it means that something equally good is happening somewhere else, and it all depends of where we focus on. And we never experience life, right? We experience what we focus on. So when you focus on something else, you will experience something else. You will experience a new meaning of the same things you're looking at. And you will experience it differently, therefore. That is the virtue of wisdom. But then the fourth virtue, by Marcus Aurelius, that can help you to become more understandable towards yourself, is practical intelligence. What is that? Well, we need to find practical tools. We need to search practical tools that can help us to align our lives with our vision, right? To align our lives with our vision and to follow the path of our dreams. So what are practical tools? We need to find certain routines that work for us. Like for me, it's waking up early and meditate as soon as I wake up and having a vision for how I want to live my day, this month, this year, who I want to become, having a vision of who you are becoming, and then finding certain practical tools that can help you to become it, like scheduling your day a little bit so you organize your intelligent mind a little bit, right? And then working out so you stay active, because your body is an animal and it requires movement, so you can increase the flow of blood and oxygen in your body, in your brain, so you can stay more focused, more alert, and more aware of the good things that are happening. Because you've noticed when you're working out, after a workout, and it can be anything you love to do, you just feel more excited to do good things, and you feel more positive about life because you have more energy, you've raised your energy. And if you take care of your diet a little bit, of your breathing, that you're breathing a bit deeper than you're used to, you will start to see much better. So seek towards practical tools like journaling, for example, writing your thoughts down, reflecting on how your life is going, and finding the things that are blocking you, and then making deep introspection on them. Like, okay, this is a problem for me right now. Let's see what can I learn here. Let's see what am I missing. Am I lacking the energy? Am I lacking the motivation? Am I lacking some clarity around goals of who I want to be? And again, we notice everything works in cycles. Sometimes we're more motivated, sometimes we're less motivated. But let's see how consistent I'm becoming. Or I set some goals and then I forget about them. I've designed a weekly passion planner, which could be used for helping you to work on your passions consistently. You can find the link in the description of that video. And just make sure that you find practical tools that work for you. And if you take care of that, of all of that, you will just start to feel much, much better. And you will start to notice that actually your life is moving forward and your future self is already being proud of yourself because you know that you're walking towards that future self. And your old self is amazed by, oh, look how far this guy is going, right? So make sure that you do something that your future self will be proud of, because at some point in your future, you will look back and you will see like, oh, I'm so proud of myself. Or you will say, what the have I done, right? So make sure that you do something you will be proud of. And it's not always easy, I know that, because sometimes I wake up and I'm like, well, today I feel like I would just sleep all day long, and what I do, I actually just sleep a bit more, because sometimes we need rest, right? Sometimes we need to slow down and we need to press the pause button of our lives and just make sure that we are doing well, that we are okay, that we notice, okay, this is truly bothering me right now, and we reflect on it a little bit and notice, okay, what do I need right now? What do I need on my heart level right now, right? Because it's not all about pushing. It's not all about walking forward. All that, you will notice, all that inner critic is not just punishing you. It's also reminding you to work on what you're ignoring about yourself. Sometimes your inner critic may say to you, hey, you're working too much, just because you're surrounded with people who are constantly being lazy, right? And you need to ask yourself, okay, how much is actually too much, right? What is the standards of what's enough? And it's hard to know until you discover it for yourself, and nobody can give you answers to those deep, profound and complicated questions. So that's why you feel sometimes like you don't know what you're doing, because you truly don't know what you're doing. And when you don't know what you're doing, you really need to take time and reflect on that, especially in this really, it seems like crazy times, really interesting times. We can't see what will come out of it, but the best thing we can do is to know who we want to be as when we come out of these really transformative times, like who we want to become. Knowing ourselves, mastering firstly your mental attitude towards yourself. You judge yourself only because you're comparing yourself with others, and you're comparing yourself with others because you don't honor yourself for who you are, right? You feel like you're not good enough. You feel like you're maybe misunderstood, and maybe you are. But know that you are exactly as the nature created you. And nature creates everything with a good reason, like all these trees that are exhaling oxygen so we can breathe it. Everything is designed on purpose, the same as you. And by knowing yourself better, you're getting to know your purpose here, your unique purpose here, your unique gift, the meaning behind your natural talents that are making you who you truly are, that work uniquely for yourself. And that's what you're discovering. And it's not a competition of who will discover it faster. You will discover everything when you will need to discover it. But until then, you are a seeker. And the beautiful part of being a seeker is that you will that your path will surprise you. It will keep surprising you with more and more and more insights about how much and what else you're capable of. And that is truly, truly beautiful. And some of you are already there, discovered, and are already working on your gifts and sharing your light with others. And you may still notice, well, my life is still not going the way I would like. But again, how can you say that? You may say, well, my money is not right. But you have food, you have roof over your head, you have somebody that loves you, maybe your dog, your cat, right? Reflect on that. Think rich thoughts, my friends, and make sure that you're striving towards perfecting what is right now being out of order, and reflect what it is. And you may be wondering what to do that, but your inner wisdom will guide you. You will be guided because you're guided right now. And at some point you will just know. It will just click, oh, that's what I needed to learn. Oh, here I needed to make some better habits. Oh, here I needed to shift my beliefs. Oh, here I needed to visualize a little bit more of who I want to be. So I was able to adapt those new behaviors that helped me to design those new habits, that helped me to become who I always felt that I'm meant to be, right? It's all a process, and enjoying this journey. Because it's all, more you learn to enjoy the process, easier it will be, more meaningful it will be, and more rewarding it will be. So my friends, I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. Have a beautiful day. I hope you've enjoyed this wonderful walk. And till next time, stay beautiful, stay magnificent. And thanks to all of you for supporting my art in my Etsy shop, I Draw My Passion. You're all truly appreciated. The link is in the description of this video. Thank you so much. And till next time, one love.